Assalamualaikum. I am Zaireen. I will start with 1.0, the introduction, and I will explain about the background of the FELDA. FELDA was founded on 1st July 1956 under the Land Development and Ordinance 1956. And the idea was initiated by Tun Abdul Razak during post-colonial Malaya to tackle a rural poverty and unemployment issue. Next, I will explain about the main objective of this FELDA. First, the main objective of FELDA is to help reduce poverty in rural areas. Many people in village don't have enough money or proper homes, so FELDA helps them by giving land and support to improve their income. This helps them to live a better life and take care of their families. Second, FELDA develops empty or unused land for farming. They give this land to poor families who don't own any land. These families get a house and land to plant crops like oil palm or rubber. This way, they have a job and a place to stay. Lastly, FELDA helps increase the farming output in Malaysia. This helps the country's economy and give more job opportunities. FELDA also wants to reduce the gap between the city and the village by improving the rural economy. First scheme was at Lurah Bilut Bentong Pahang 1958, where they focused on rubber cultivation. Their target settlers was this society that have an issue of landless and married individuals with farming experience. They was given houses and farming land. For the next point, I will pass to the next presenter.
Digital literacy and online job training. FELDA helps settlers learn digital skills and work online so they can join modern jobs. Not only just farming, this includes training in artificial intelligence, and the government provides support to help rural communities adapt to new technology. Settlers also take part in programs like the FELDA MDAC Digital Transformation, the ZAIREEN Digital Campaign, and the GLOW programs. This program give online training and opportunities to work in gig job or e-usahawan, helping settlers earn more income. More than 60,000 settlers from places like FELDA Bukit Besar and FELDA Sahabat have joined these online courses. This shows that FELDA's digital initiatives are successful and many settlers are actively digital literacy and online job training. FELDA helps settlers learn digital skills and work online so they can join modern jobs. Not only just farming, this includes training in artificial intelligence, and the government provides support to help rural communities adapt to new technology. Settlers also take part in programs like the FELDA MDAC Digital Transformation, the ZAIREEN Digital Campaign, and the GLOW programs. This program give online training and opportunities to work in gig job or e-usahawan, helping settlers earn more income. More than 60,000 settlers from places like FELDA Bukit Besar and FELDA Sahabat have joined these online courses. This shows that FELDA's digital initiatives are successful and many settlers are actively participating. Community leadership and governance training. FELDA trains settlers to become confident, responsible, and independent. These training programs teach leadership and management skills so that communities can solve local problems in a better way. For young, the Transform programs helps develop leadership, integrity, and community participation. FELDA's Department of Community Development manages the training and works with the governance agency to make sure governance is transparent and well organized. Settlers also benefit from land and economic support. They follow a 3-pass land plan where they learn farming, work on their plot, and receive land titles. Many settlers also run small business or sell and with permission, which helps them earn more income and improve their economic situation. Land settlement schemes. FELDA's land settlement schemes have been running since the 1980s. Internally, settlers were allowed to own land, but this caused some problem. The land was divided among the next generation, which reduced productivity and efficiency. To help settlers, the government provide financial support through RM 9.9 billion suku. This also include reducing FELDA's debt by RM 7.9 billion and cancelling 18% of a settler's loan. This measure helps settlers reduce their financial burden and give them a fresh start. FELDA is also focusing on housing, education, and overall community development for the 2022 to 2024 generation. The goal is to make the settlements more organized, provide better facilities, and improve the quality of life For all settles, many initiatives have already been complete and more plans will continue in the future.
3.0, we're going to talk about the benefit of further effect to the rural poverty in Malaysia. One of the benefits is the elevation of living standard. As we know, FEDA is engaged in agricultural projects that aim at enhancing income and alleviating poverty. To improve the living standard, the Prime Minister announced an allocation of 100,000 ringgit for each village and granting them full autonomy to implement their chosen development project. Additionally, the Rahmah contribution is part of the incentive announced for settlers, including a 1,000 ringgit incentive for FEDA residents at the age of 65 and above. FEDA also remains a top priority for the Malaysian government regarding the socio-economic welfare and the agriculture. Therefore, the digital modernity program is essential for positioning FEDA as a leader in digital transformation as well as ensuring that the settlers are not left behind. By implementing the Malaysian Digital Economy Program, the quality of life of FEDA settlers can improve and driving the economic growth in the community.
Next one is expansion of employment prospect. FEDA also focuses on rubber and palm oil, aiming to escape out of scenes of poverty. The government also implements the initiative for second and third generation settlers, resulting in the positive outcomes and reducing negative perception of plantation industry. In order to secure jobs for second and third generation, there are young entrepreneur programs that train people for essential skills. Therefore, FEDA schemes benefit settlers and community whereby the skill and knowledge that generally pass down through the legacy and inheritance from their parents. Most people who live in rural areas often have multiple job skills due to their familiarity with farming. This can allow them to earn more lucrative income during the pandemic situation just like COVID-19. Therefore, FEDA generation have experienced the vertical pace mobility from poverty to lower middle class. In addition, FEDA generation also capable of standing proudly on the world stage through education.
In session 3.3, we will focus on how improvement in education help develop human capital in rural and FEDA communities. For advancement in education and human capital development, integrated educational facilities are established within rural settlements, especially in FEDA communities to support settlers' families. Schools located closer to this community help reduce travel costs and lower student dropout rates. To enhance learning environment facilities such as libraries, computer labs, and dedicated study spaces are provided. The presence of qualified teachers ensure proper academic guidance and consistent support for students. In line with 21st century learning, smart classroom, digital tools, and interactive teaching methods are introduced to develop essential skills. Additionally, co-curricular activities, mentorship program, and skill building workshops are offered to support youth development. Overall, this initiative help prepare students for higher education and vocational pathway that align with national workforce needs. Moving on to the point 3.4, modernization of rural infrastructure. Improvements are made in key areas such as roads, electricity, water supply, and digital connectivity. This upgrade provide rural community with better access to education, healthcare service, markets, and wider socio-economic opportunities. Improved road networks enable farmers to transport their agricultural products more efficiently while also supporting the growth of local businesses. FEDA also introduces digital marker hubs in school, which is expose students to coding, robotics, and technology-based programs. Overall, infrastructure development helps reduce the gap between rural and urban areas and support long-term sustainable rural development.
So, for my part is challenges of FEDA in eradicating rural poverty in Malaysia. So, for the first one is generation and social challenges. The issue in FEDA is because of traditional development. Settlers generation want to find something that align with their educational level and also better opportunity other than this field. It is not possible for the FEDA to make them interested because they have a lot of good advantage. The FEDA generation should have enough knowledge for them to enhance their skill training to become more relevant. When FEDA was led by Tun Abdul Razak Hussein, FEDA become more efficient because they are provided with the necessary skills and also infrastructure. So like I just said before, the younger generation was not interested in this field anymore because they want to find something that align with their educational level. Like example, doctors, teacher or engineer that have a lot of salary. But FELDA have a lot of advantage because they are closely related to the management. So the management can make any program or any training that make them interested to become the next generation of settlers.
Thank you Hazira for the explanation. My name is KHAIRUNNISA binti HAMDAN and I will be explaining about FELDA economic and market challenges. Federal Land Development Authority FELDA has encountered a series of economic and market challenges that has threatened its financial stability. The main issue is the role of the parent agency and its subsidiaries to improve the settlers' living standards that went unnoticed by the policymakers. Internally, FELDA has struggled with financial mismanagement and high levels of debt built up over the past year, which is caused by poor investments and governance problems. One of the biggest economic challenges facing FELDA is the fluctuation of global commodity prices and market competition, particularly for oil and rubber producing countries such as Indonesia and Thailand. FELDA overdependence on palm oil sector has caused some major issues in the society. After the global palm oil prices drop, FELDA revenue significantly decreases and the average smallholder revenue was recorded to be lower than 3,000 ringgit a month, which is less than the B40 group income. In the 1980s and 1990s, FELDA main focus is put onto commercialization as many rural households were uninterested in their resettlement. However, it eventually contributed to a major financial problems as their efforts were unsuccessful. In 2012, the FGV stock prices fell 72% from its IPO price trading at 4 ringgit 55 cents to 1 ringgit 29 cents as at July 2020. FELDA has spent 6 billion ringgit on catastrophic and unprofitable expenditures such as the purchase of Grand Plaza Kensington Hotel London and the Merdeka Palace Kuching at an inflated price under the FELDA Investment Corporation (FIC). These problems limit FELDA's ability to invest in new technologies, replanting programs and diversification efforts needed for long-term competitiveness. First and foremost, the FELDA inheritance system urges ownership restriction based on Section 14 and Section 15, subject to the Land Group Settlement Area Act 906, Act 503, or known as GSA Act. Section 14 indicates that the settler of FELDA land is not allowed to be registered under more than 2 joint owners. Section 15 states that this land cannot be subdivided or leased in whole or in part, and in Section 7 Clause 3 also limits the holding for the city as a residential, public, commercial and other uses as approved by the state government. 40% of FELDA land inheritance that fall under the GSA Act do not advance past the issuance of the letter of administration. Research made by Zulkifli Muhammad in 2012 shows that as early of 2002, a total of 322 individuals had passed away, with 160 of them having never initiated the transfer of ownership. Settlers continue to encounter limitations as they are unable to independently engage in land transactions, including sales, leases, or transfers. Moreover, about 60.62% of unresolved cases arise due to family disputes. Many beneficiaries fail to attend court hearings because of their disagreement with one another. And when such disputes remains unresolved, a trustee or an administrator is appointed to manage the FELDA land inheritance. However, there is still some administrators that do not behave appropriately. In certain cases, the FELDA land was put up for auction due to bank loan that the administrators were unable to pay back. This shameless act clearly violates the Small Estate Distribution Act of 1055 requirements. That is all from me. Thank you very much, and I will pass to the next presenter.
The last one is administrative challenges. FELDA has faced many problems to reduce the poverty among the community, and they become more weak to develop rural poverty because of the FELDA itself. It is also lead to the weak communication skills between the FELDA and also the settlers. It was also lead to the policy mismatches and reduce the FELDA effectiveness and difficult to give the settlers all the information that they want. Also, FGV was involved in scandals that hard for them to recover. So, like I just said earlier, because of the weak communication skills, FELDA really have to improve on this one, because settlers are always refer or always want to communicate with them or get the information that they want. So if they have a weak communication skills, how the settlers want to trust them and get all the information that they want? So for the settlers part, they will hide for file a complaint or find other information that they want. So they will become dissatisfaction towards the FELDA. Earlier, I just said about the FGV that involved in some scandals that disturb the FELDA goals to become one of the best company in Malaysia. So the example of the scandals that always happen in the organisation or management is corruption or mismanagement. Because of these two problems, the settlers didn't want to trust them anymore, because like example I just said corruption, right? So the corruption, the people in the organisation was use the settlers money, so they use the money for their own life, for their own goods. So they didn't do their responsible for help the settlers. So other than that, due to lack of human resources, FELDA don't have a lot of workers that provided them with a full knowledge and also the good skills. So because of this thing, FELDA have to use their own money for them to provide a training or any program that they have to enhance the skills of their own employees. So at least when the employees have a full knowledge and have a training, maybe the organisation will become more efficient towards their service or become more responsible to do their tasks without getting any problems.
So the conclusion, FELDA have major contributor to development. Since 1956, FELDA has helped reduce rural poverty, boost agriculture and transform rural communities through land settlement and crop cultivation, which is rubber and palm oil. Next is evolution into a diversity entity. From a land development agency, FELDA expanded into a plantation management, education and global business. Third was facing a modern challenges. Issues like financial mismanagement, global market shift, and low youth involvement highlights the need for reform and adaptation. And last but not least, for path forward, strengthen governance, adopt sustainable practices, and involve the youngest generation to ensure FELDA's continued relevance and success in Malaysia's economy. That's all from us. Thank you.